Excellent. Well, as you all know, the session is going to be recorded as well, and the recording will be shared with everyone who registered for the call. And I think we're 2 minutes over start time. I want to value everyone's time. So let's begin. Why not begin? So again, thank you everyone for being here. Those of you that are here on this call, our panelists, as well as everyone or anyone that might be listening to the recording in the future. Welcome everyone. This is the information session for graduate degrees in partnership with Ubiquity and the Spiritual Heritage Education Network. Together, we will be offering graduate degrees in the Neurobiology of Transformation. Very interesting topic. Now, I'm joined today on the panel with our Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Georgie Sabo. She's here with us at Ubiquity University. And then most importantly, Javasu and Shiv, who are representatives, founders, organizers, teachers at the Spiritual Heritage Education Network. And we'll be hearing from them a little bit later on as well. Also on the call, we have Victoria, who is our Dean of Students. She's sitting in the audience as well. And she may chime in a little bit later also. So just to frame the discussion for everyone a little bit, I will give a little intro now. We will then hand over to the SHEN team, the Spiritual Heritage Education Network. That's the acronym we use, SHEN. We'll be handing over to them to give us an in-depth overview about their program so that you all really understand what's on offer. We will describe to you the structure of how the certificate offered by SHEN can then be converted to a graduate degree with Ubiquity. And then we'll open up for 20 to 30 minutes of Q&A, because I'm sure you will all have many questions you'd like to ask, both from the Ubiquity side as well as from the SHEN side. So just to frame this whole thing and give everyone a little bit of background about why we're here and how we're here. Ubiquity has been around for well over a decade now, working in the transformational education space. And through our work over the years, which has, varied in many ways, we've always offered our own internal degrees, mostly in wisdom studies. And while we've had those going along, and while we've spoken with and come into contact with many educational partners around the world, one thing we did realize is that there are so many organizations like SHEN that offer the highest quality of education in the fields of transformational education. And many of these certifications would really benefit, or the students of these certifications could really benefit from having those certificates, which are very valuable on their own because the content is of such a high standard. But to be able to turn those into a graduate qualification, whether that be a master's, a Ph.D, or an MA Ph.D, is quite an attractive prospect. And I think it's a very valuable prospect, especially within fields of transformative education that I would say are perhaps new or pioneering, but either way, very, very, very important for the well-being of this planet at this time in our planet's history. And so that's why we're so excited to work with SHEN to offer graduate degrees in the neurobiology of transformation. We're very, very happy to be partnering with you, both Javasu and Shiv. We know the quality of the work that you do, as well as the importance of the work that you do. And my hope is that, we'll have students that go through your program, come out with that knowledge, and then really have that knowledge, I would say, sort of secured and deepened through writing a thesis and dissertation with Ubiquity. And what we want is for people with that knowledge to really get out there in the world and make a contribution and spread the word about a field like this that's so very important, as I mentioned before. So I think that's enough from me to start. I think the interesting stuff is to come from Javasu and Shiv. So let me hand over right now to both of you. Thank you very much again for being here. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Raji, and thank you, Ubiquity, for partnering with us in offering these degrees. My name is Shiv Talwar. I'm a civil engineer by profession, and I founded Spiritual Heritage Education Network, the organization that is partnering with you. And my friend, Dr. Pradeep Kumar, commonly known as Jivasu, MD, and he is a medical doctor. So you can see both of us are from science background, and what we are offering is also science of the body and the brain. That is what neurobiology means. Neuro means brain, biology is the science of the body. So science of the body and science of the brain, how the brain and the body run our life. And if we understand how the body and the brain, the biology and the neurology uh, run our lives, then we can use our body and the mind so that they run it better. And that is what transformation idea is. Whatever happens by itself, we can change that. And once we understand how the body and the brain interact, uh, we will be offering Master of Applied Science degree, PhD, and combined Master of Applied Science and PhD degrees. And I have put in some links in the chat box. If you look at the first link, you click on it, you will go to the site of Spiritual Heritage Education Network, where you will find the information about the certificate, the coursework that we give out as part of this degree program. And then the second link, if you click on it, you will go to the site of Ubiquity University about the information on these programs. So you can copy those links and keep them for your reference. And whenever you need information, you can go there. And then one thing that I want to highlight is we are offering this program universally. And there'll be people from all parts of the world taking this program. And we want to make sure that we are financially inclusive. The people from, we are in Canada, and people in North America, cost of doing things is much higher. So our fees are set for North America, and many countries will not be able to afford those fees. So we have a sliding scale of fees. People from high income countries will pay some money, and people from upper middle income group will pay, say, 70% of that. We'll give them 30% discount, and lower middle countries will pay another 30% less. They will only pay 40%. And the people from the very low income countries will only pay 10% of the fees that the North American people will pay. And there is a link to the World Bank site. That is the third link that I put in the chat box. If you go to that link, you will get the information as to where your country stands. If you are from, say, Ceylon, you search for Ceylon, and then you see whether you are in upper middle or lower middle or whatever. So, and then you know the fee that you will be paying. And another thing that I want to point out that the style of teaching that we'll be using in these degrees, this is applied science, and we'll be showing you the practices of this applied science that we use to keep our mind calm and focused. And when we keep our mind calm and focused, we tend to see things that other people do not see. Other people miss the subtle secrets of what we are talking about, whereas people with a calm mind can see the subtle as well as the concrete. And the style of teaching that we'll be using is called contemplative teaching. So there will be a fair bit of time dedicated to learning about contemplation and also learning how to apply contemplation to learn things with a calm and focused mind. So that would be different. A style of teaching would be different from cognitive teaching that you find in the other universities. So with that, I'll stop my presentation and I'll ask my friend Jivasu to continue, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiv Bhai, and I will share the PowerPoint to give overview. Can you see the PowerPoint? Shiv Bhai, can you see the PowerPoint?
No,
We see.
Pardon?
I can't.
You cannot? You can.
Yes, we can see it. We can.
Okay, you can. Okay, great.
See the PowerPoint.
Yeah. So, first of all, what is transformation? By the way, my name is Chivasu, as was mentioned by Raji, Dr. Pradeep Kumar, and I'm a physician. So transformation is basically about going beyond formations, transcending formations. And formation means those of our habits, patterns, and addictions, which become our trap, either mentally or physically. And breaking those patterns to reach our peak potential is the idea of neurobiology of transformation. And because it is science, so it is not something vague or mystical. And I put these 6 features. Once we achieve that, we can experience feeling of well-being, love and compassion, creative vitality, and also freedom from fear, guilt, and trauma. And they are all related to the structure and function of our brain and body. So these forms and patterns actually virtually the part of all brains and bodies of humanity. And we constantly revolved in that cycle, feeling dissatisfied, not feeling fulfilled, happy, or peaceful. And these patterns have a very definitive brain area, which is called default mode network. It involves the frontal part of the brain and also the back part of the brain. And all these formations and patterns, they express themselves as chronic stress. So ultimately, everything boiled down to one point, and that is chronic stress. So in neurobiology of transformation, we approach not metaphysically, mystically, or through religion, or even through spirituality. Our approach is through body and brain. And body means a confluence or convergence of 3 cosmic forces of matter, which anchors us, energy, which makes us functional, and consciousness, which makes us aware. So you can see this body is basically a micro universe. along with brain is one of its organs. So we can approach everything inside or around us through this body. And that is what is neurobiological approach is. How we do it, how we break those formations. Number one, homeostasis, a very common concept in human physiology. And homeostasis means we want to bring the natural balance of the brain and body back. Because unless we have that, we won't have enough energy, life energy, to break the old patterns, to become free, to reach our peak potential. And through that, we achieve positive neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is a specific quality of the brain which makes it flexible. So in our brain, nothing is etched in stone. At any time, we can fundamentally change the brain structure and function. A lot of researches are done about it, and so a lot of study papers are available. So how we do that? What are the tools of transformation which we'll be using? Number one part will be we'll be understanding the science and theory of transformation, because we want to lay the ground of theoretical understanding either based on evidence or through inference, because still in some areas full studies or research work is not available, but we can easily infer from the current evidence. So that will be the part of any session. Number two will be practices. And Shiv Bhai already mentioned that practices are going to be the integral part of all teachings, because only theory is not sufficient. And what will be those practices? Contemplative practices, body movement, meditation, breath work, and similar thing. Because all those things, all those practices start changing physiology and biochemistry of our brain and the body. And the third component of our teachings will be understanding our somatic personality with which we were born. All of us are unique, and that uniqueness is embedded in our somatic personality. Somatic means body, which includes mind also. So in that way, we will gain self-knowledge about ourselves, and that self-knowledge will bring us self-care. So once I understand my mind and body, I can put a plan. How much to sleep, how much to exercise, what to eat, what kind of relationship, what kind of work, what kind of home. Because if I'm only understanding theory and only doing practice without any self-knowledge, some of those things won't work at all, because I may be working against my own personality. So these will be the three components throughout our teachings. So as far as the courses are concerned, because whatever we talked about, it will be implemented through 6 courses for master's program and 10 courses for master's and PhD program. So the program will start in April, duration roughly 2 years, but students will have flexibility to complete it in a longer period of time. There will be 6 courses for the masters, a 10-day in-person retreat, which will be in Canada, and a thesis or a capstone project. So these are the 6 courses on the screen you can see. Behavioral psychology to understand evolution of life and consciousness. Number 2 course is physiology of mind, body, health, and rejuvenation. You will be learning about mind-body medicine and well-being. Third will be understanding and healing of 5 traumas for health, happiness, and peace. And those 5 traumas are transgenerational trauma, trauma in the womb, trauma during birthing, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse. And the final and very big trauma is social and cultural conditioning. The 4th program will be science and practice of contemplative and spiritual technique and professional ethics, which will give you science behind or neurobiology behind all practices. 5th will be right parenting, raising a healthy, happy, and body-wise child in a turbulent world. Because if we are really interested in improving our families, our life, and global life, we have to start with children. Because it is more difficult to transform adults in comparison of children. And finally, the 6th course is science and practice of conscious breathing for transformation. So these 6 courses are about masters. If you are doing PhD, then we will suggest 4 more courses, and those are science of love and relationships, science of aging and old age, science of death and dying, and science of consciousness, including artificial intelligence, which is going to be a very big challenge now and in coming many decades. As I mentioned, this is a science-based course, so nothing is vague. So what are the stages of transformation? You will be experiencing or learning about these 5 stages: somatic identity, somatic crises, and somatic self, which basically is the first major achievement in transformation when we experience complete health and well-being. And from there, we will move to somatic universal, somatic non-dual, just to give you an idea. How a typical session will look like, you can see that it will be roughly 3 hours duration. First part, 1 hour, 40 minutes, will covering the science and the theory and question and answers. There will be a break, and then there will be a 60 minutes practice. So these modules are taken from the healing 5 traumas of life. So that is how you will be experiencing the program. And as Shubhai mentioned, I'm just repeating it, that for masters, Ubiquity charges are 5,000 US. Our fee is 7,200, but it is reduced to 50% because it's introductory, and further scholarship are available. And also people from low income countries will also get a special discount. For the master's and PhD, 10 courses, bigger thesis, a retreat, or a capstone project, and the fees will be different. And perhaps this PhD will be completed in 4 years. So with that, I will stop here and just summarize that these formation of our life take away our freedom. Neurobiology of transformation want to break them. Approach is through body and brain, through science. So I will open stage for any questions.
Thank you very much, Jivasu, and thank you, Shiv, for a very clear presentation that really laid out the content and the structure very nicely. Do type in your questions, everyone, into the chat, and we will collect them and answer them at the end. I think that would be the best way to go about it. Questions already flooding in, which is good. Magali, we will, I hope I said that right, or Magali, we'll come to that question in a second, but let's give me and Georgie 10 minutes just to describe how everything that Jivasu just so clearly explained fits into the larger structure of the graduate degrees. So if you'll just give me a moment of your time, I will share my screen. 1 second, please. Just give me 1 moment. Okay. I hope you all can see my screen now.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to describe the structure of how the SHEN program links up with the Ubiquity side of things. Now, what you're looking at, and I've shared the link in the chat, is the landing page on the Ubiquity website for this program. How would you find this page? Well, first of all, you'd go to the Ubiquity University website. So that's ubiquityuniversity.org. You'll just follow this top panel to learning pathways, then degrees and certificates. And if you scroll down, you will find the link for this particular page. Now, this is an important page, not only because it gives you information about this program, both on the SHEN side as well as the Ubiquity side, but it's also sort of your hub to contact us and apply for the program. So if you are interested in applying, you will find throughout this website that there are apply now buttons that you can click and go straight into the application process if you've already made that choice. If you would like to speak with our admissions office further to understand more about Ubiquity and to understand more about the application process, you can always book an orientation call here. I'm also going to share a link at the end of my little spiel here. I'm going to share a little link also with an interest form on it. So if you fill that out, then our staff will reach out to you and set up a call or be available to answer your questions. Now, having said that, what I want to do is also use this page to describe to you, as I mentioned, how this program is structured. In other words, how can you go through the program with SHEN and then convert that certificate into the master's level, PhD level, or combined master's PhD level qualification or credential with Ubiquity. So broadly speaking, if you were to think of, well, what you might generally think of as a graduate degree program, I suppose it could be split into 2 parts. You have your coursework, right? All the classes that you take with all your professors, if you're on a campus even, right? And that's really what Javasu explained so nicely in his presentation. The other component of a graduate degree would be writing your thesis or your dissertation in the case of a PhD. And really, that's the component that you come and you do with Ubiquity. So if you wanted to make a broad generalization, it's really that your coursework takes place with SHEN, and then you come to Ubiquity, write your thesis and dissertation, and then thesis or dissertation, and then get your graduate qualification on the back of that. Now, the table you see in front of you gives you a little bit more detail because there are a few other small courses that you have to take with Ubiquity as well if you want to convert your certificate to the degree. Now that's what you're looking at here. You can see the 3 verticals, right? So you're seeing the master's level, the PhD, and the combined in each of those 3 columns. And you'll notice some things are common. Of course, you've got the Spiritual Heritage Education Network coursework, which is mandatory for this degree and therefore common across all 3 verticals. The other thing that you will notice that's common between all 3 verticals is the creative journey to dissertation. Now, that's a very, very important course, a mandatory course taught by Dr. Georgie. And so she will tell you a little bit more about it when it's her turn to speak. But essentially, this is a 5-day, 3 hours a day intensive that every graduate student at whichever level has to take because it prepares you both from an academic point of view as well as from many other points of view for the thesis and dissertation writing process. It's a foundational course for anyone that really wants to go on the graduate pathway. And Dr. Georgie will explain to you more about how that course is structured and what's covered during that course. Now, you can take this course ideally, well, we recommend that you take this course at the beginning of your coursework with SHEN because it will set your mind on the right path. And by that, I mean that it will give you the awareness that you need to think about your thesis or your dissertation as you're moving through your coursework as well, as ideas start coming to you. The other important thing for you to remember is that you can, while we recommend you take it at the start of your coursework, you do have the option to take it really at any time that you like, but as long as it's, you know, before you start writing your dissertation. Now, the other thing you might want to know is that this course is offered once a month at Ubiquity. And so that means that whenever you decide to join this program, there will always be an offering of this course each month. So you'll be able to slot that in based on what's convenient to you. So there you've got the Creative Journey to Dissertation course. You have to do that no matter which degree pathway you choose. Now let's get to that middle column where you see the PhD. There we have two additional requirements. The first is the Chartres Academy, which is really Ubiquity's flagship course. We've been doing this, this in-person retreat for, I think, almost over a decade. Georgie might be able to confirm that. But it's a approximately 7-day retreat in Chartres, which is a little town outside Paris in France, where each year we study, we experience together a deep study in one of the 7 liberal arts. And we go through the liberal arts each year, so one for each year. It's a wonderful, wonderful, I would say, transforming experience. I had the opportunity to go once before COVID hit. I didn't know what to expect when I went, but it was really quite a internally shifting experience for me. And I know many have that experience. So I would really recommend attending that course if you can. Of course, we understand that not everyone can travel. And so if that's not possible, we do have an online version of that course that we created during the COVID years. And so that would be a valid way for you to fulfill this requirement as well. Finally, we have great books. This is more of a sort of general education course that we want our students to take. The Great Books course is offered a few times every year, but it's packaged as a 1-year course, and it covers 6, in each package covers 6 of the great books in human history. So if you look at the different years we offer the course, you have a vast selection of books from which to choose. You'd be required to read 6 books over the course of a year and then write a short paper on it. And these are all fantastically interesting books that, you know, I'm sure you would want to read if you haven't already. So that's another course we have to do. Again, Georgie may have some detail on that when she speaks. And then finally, in the final column, it's everything I just mentioned for the MA PhD and an additional 8 credits worth of electives, meaning additional courses to beef up your knowledge, which you can take from Ubiquity if you like, but you can also take it from another service provider as long as it's approved or as long as it aligns with what you want to do in your studies. So this is how it's laid out in terms of requirements. I'm happy to answer more questions later. I understand it's quite a lot to take in. In terms of prices, at the MA level, it's $5,000. At the PhD level, $15,000. And at the MSc PhD level, it's $16,600. For those that can pay up front, there's a discount if you're able to do so, but we understand that may not be possible, or that, you know, even these numbers are not small for many of us, especially in my part of the world, for instance. And we do offer payment plans over the course of 18 months that will allow you to split these payments up. I think I will leave it at that for now. I don't want to overload people with too much information. I'm going to put another link into this chat, which is an interest form, which you can fill out if you would like us to get in touch with you actively. Otherwise, you can always visit the landing page I showed just now in order to book an orientation call with our admissions office, or indeed apply straight away. I think that's enough from me. I will hand over to Dr. Georgie, who's going to tell us a little bit more about some of those courses that I gave you an overview about. So Georgie, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Raji. And a warm welcome to you wherever you are on this beautiful planet. And thank you for joining this live session. and welcome to those who are going to watch the recording. My name is Georgie. I've been with Ubiquity University for 10 years already, and the university itself has been in existence for, I don't know, 17, 18 years. So since that time, we have been going to Chartres. But I'd like to give you a little bit of a deeper overview of the Creative Journey to Dissertation course. As Roger mentioned, it is on Monday to Friday, 3 hours per day, and we start around 6 p.m. Central European time, which is 9 a.m. Pacific time. There is no preparation required, and there is no paper submission required. In order to get the 4 credits for this course, the only requirement is that you need to be there and you need to participate. We're going to cover a lot of very important information. And this is not just about thesis and dissertation writing, it's so much more. It is almost from beginning to the end. We're going to discuss several profound aspects, such as what are the different research methods, how to find the inner flame within, how to choose the best major advisor and establish a fruitful relationship with that person. We're going to go through the dissertation manual, which will be the little Bible for every single graduate student. So we're going to discuss, the layout, the format, the languaging. This course is not going to teach you academic writing. You will need to take a different course for that. On our website, we listed a few very short and cost-effective courses you can take if you want to augment your academic writing skills. So this is more about what a graduate path entails. We're also going to talk about what is procrastination, because we all procrastinate, how to overcome writer's block, because we all experience it. So this is the course really to be taken right at the beginning if you can. Is going to help you for your SHEN coursework as well, because a dissertation is like a bigger expression of a small post paper. So small post papers like, mini versions of a dissertation. The second core course is the Chartres Academy course. Raji mentioned we have been going to Chartres for the past 17 years, apart from the famous 2 pandemic years, year 2020, 2021. It really is a life-changing course. Usually we gather at least 80 to 90 people every summer there. Alumni, current students, and actually those as well who are not part of Ubiquity University as students, but they enjoy it so much that they come every year. The course itself is based on the 7 liberal arts, but every year the theme is always infused with current important elements such as societal, individual, trauma, consciousness studies, and many, many more. If you can come, please do, because it really is a wonderful course that lasts. I think we start on Sunday and we finish on Saturday. So the online version you can take if for whatever reason you cannot attend the in-person course. It is clearly easier for you and cheaper as well, because you don't have to fork out money for flights or accommodation. But meeting most of the students and the faculty as well, you can't really replace that. But you have choices at least. The Gradebooks course is the third core course. And these courses I'm actually discussing, talking about for the PhDs and for the combined program as well. For the MA section, as Raji mentioned, you only need to take the Creative Journey to Dissertation course. So go back to the Gradebooks course. It is January until December. 6 books are presented. 1 book has 2 presentations. If you miss the live session, not to worry, because the recording version of the presentation will be posted on our YouTube site 24 hours or probably maybe 48 hours after the live presentation. You will need to submit a post paper after the year ends. And that is really on 6 books. We're not gonna give you a list of questions, because you don't want to put you in a box. You reflect on the 6 books the way you wish. Like is there any connective element within the 6 books you can find, or what were your emotions or feelings or ideas reading these 6 books? So the choice is really yours in a sense, how you would like to express your opinion on these 6 books. There's maybe one more thing about the combined degree. The combined degree means that you are actually joining 2 degrees. You do get only 1 diploma at the very end. So if you want to have 2 different diplomas, then you will need to complete the master's section with a thesis and then enter into PhD section, which will be concluded with a dissertation. So it is easier in a sense to take on the combined degree because you only write 1 dissertation. I'm sure I may have left something out, but I know we don't have much time left, so I'd rather kind of like hand it back to you and maybe we answer some questions. I did see some from Pedro and from others as well in our chat box, so back to you, Raji.
Thanks, Georgie. I will, before we get to the questions, ask you one thing, Georgie. Maybe you can speak a little bit. I forgot to talk about it. Was the role of the major advisor in this process?
Yes, sure. Of course, with all about not just the major advice, but lots of other aspects we discussed in a greater detail at the Creative Journey course, but just in a nutshell, if you are on an MA path, your major advisor needs to have an MA. If you're on a PhD or on the combined degree path, then your advisor needs to have a PhD. Why? Because only an MA or a PhD knows what entails to be on a path like this. It is not just about the academic. It is not just the expression, but all the other challenges you are going through. Those will understand in a greater sense, so actually walk that path already. How to find a major advisor and what are the ins and outs? We talk more about it at the Creative Journey course. We have a list of people on our website that I vouch for. We know all these people. However, the first call of action, if you are entering into this partnership program, to reach out to Dr. Shiv and Jivasu. And if they're not available to serve as your major advisor, then I'm sure that they would be able to recommend somebody instead. Is that all you wanted, Raji, or anything else?
I think that's fine. I think people can ask questions. I just wanted people to understand that when they join their graduate journey with Ubiquity, they're not all on their own. They have a major advisor that they will choose,
Right. Yeah.
who will guide them through the entire process.
Oh, sure. And thank you. This is really it's a great comment. Our structure at Ubiquity is different to most American universities, whereby we do not allocate a major advisor right at the beginning of your studies. There are several really important reasons for that. One is that we want you to concentrate on your courses, because through taking the courses, you're going through a lot of change. That may affect the choice of your interest field and the choice of your dissertation or thesis title. And many advisors do not wait for many years until you enter dissertation phase. So that's the other reason. We are not police. We're not going to police you. If you want to work on your dissertation, as well as you're taking your courses, up to you. But according to my experience, having finished the BA, MA, and a PhD as well, and worked with Ubiquity for 10 years, if you are polarizing your energy and attention, none of the projects get 100% of your focus. So don't worry your beautiful mind about what will be your dissertation topic or thesis topic. You can address that much later on. To be quite honest with you, at the Creative Journey course, we're going to address this question, and we will discuss several tools and ideas and approaches that that will actually make you easier to find that flame within, that what it is I need to write my dissertation on. So the major advisor will work with you only after you finished all the required courses.
Thank you, Georgie. Good. We have about 15 minutes for questions now. I'd like to give that chance to the audience. The first question was from Magali right at the start. And Javasu and Shiv, I believe this is for you. It's quite an interesting question. Could you please explain the difference between contemplation and meditation?
Shibai, would you like to respond or should I?
You go ahead.
Normal thinking is moving from thought to thought. Contemplation is when we are focusing on one thought. And I will give you an example of Einstein. So he was taking the problem of gravity or time and such thing, and he was focusing on it. He called it thought experiments, and that is called contemplation. It is still within the realm of thought, but focused. All creativity comes from contemplation. And meditation is when we go beyond thought. So ordinary thinking, thought to thought, contemplation, focusing on one thought, we become creative in all spheres of life. Meditation is going beyond thought into silence.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next question is from Jeff. I think this is also for you, gentlemen. Would the program be open to students collecting data during exercises with neurofeedback devices like Muse 2? Is that something that the program would be open to?
Shibhai, would you like to respond?
I think neurofeedback is important, and your research may be on neurofeedback and practices. How you get the neurofeedback is important. Are there instruments that you're using to get the neurofeedback? Or if they are, what kind of instruments are being used and so on?
So, but we will be open, yes.
We'll be open to it, yes,
Definitely.
Right. Thank you. The next question from Joy, I think I can answer this one. The question is, can one first complete the SHEN portion and then apply and pay for the Ubiquity degree, or is it simultaneous? Yes, you can indeed take the SHEN portion first, and then come over to the Ubiquity portion once you're done with the SHEN coursework. The only, I think, caveat or disclaimer I'd put there is, it would be good if you can take the Creative Journey course with Ubiquity at the start. That's the ideal progression. So, you take Creative Journey at the start, then you do all your coursework, and then you come back to us. But I understand that might be financially a little bit difficult to enroll in both programs right at the beginning. So short answer to your question, Joy, you can take the SHEN portion first and then come to Ubiquity if that's what you prefer. Right. Then Pedro has some questions. The first one is, can the Toronto retreat be taken virtually?
No, that has to be in person. Wherever a decision is made, the retreat will be, you have to come there, live there together, eat there together all the time. You're going to be spending at one retreat location, and there will be lots of practices, and it is important that those practices be engaged in, and the effect that it'll have on you will be life-changing. So there is no shortcut for that. Other programs, other courses will be long distance, but retreat has to be in person.
Thank you, Shiv. One more question, I think, for you. Can payments be made per course like Ubiquity? So do they have to pay for the entire certificate all at once, or can it be broken up into, I suppose, modules?
Well, we can have installments, yes.
No problem for us.
No problems for us. But not our course. Let's say maybe 3 installments.
All right. So
Yeah.
those are the questions. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, as we mentioned that introductory program, we are already subsidizing by 50%. And then even further scholarship or reduction or discount is available. So I don't think as far as SHEN is concerned, the payment part will be difficult.
Thank you, Jivasu. And I want to say that's quite a valuable and important initiative that you've been able to offer these sorts of rates, because we have a lot of partners, and in this space it's quite rare to be able to enter a program with a scholarship or a 50% discount, or even with your geographical spread in terms of pricing that you mentioned earlier. So these are really great initiatives, and it's much appreciated. Magali asks, will the online course be recorded?
Yes, all of them. Because sometimes it's very difficult for all people to attend all sessions because of emergency or prior appointment. So yes, we'll be recording all those sessions and they will be sent to all participants.
Thank you. Those are all the questions we have so far. We have a little bit more time, so let's see if there are any more questions.
Roger, if I may actually say something, if you don't mind, just reflecting on the recordings, the Creative Journey to Dissertation course is not being recorded. So I don't know if I emphasize that or not. You need to be there Monday to Friday every single day. You can't miss it, and it becomes towards the second part of the course an interactive session as well. So your full attendance is a must in order to get that 4 credits. Just wanted to say it. So for the shorter academic course, if you come to the in-person one, clearly you're there. If you take the online version of it, then you need to watch the recordings. And for the gradebooks course, you just need to watch the presentations if you cannot attend the live presentations. Thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that, Georgie. Yes, the Creative Journey course, you have to be there for those 5 days. So you'll have to set those days aside when you do your planning. But like
Raji, I have something to say on that question. Because of the contemplative content, you can't miss too many lectures. I think there will be, as Dr. Jivasu showed, every session of 3 hours is, there will be maybe almost an hour of contemplative session. And that has to be attended in person, although not in person. I mean, you have to be there. You can't. Recording will not be replacing that part. So if you're missing out on a third of the contemplative sessions, then I think that will be not satisfactory completion of the course.
Fair enough. There's one more question again from Magali. She wants to know what time the SHEN courses are held at, morning or evening, Central Eastern Time, or are there different times depending on the courses?
Yeah, we want to cover North America, West Coast, Europe, or even places like India. So we are planning that it will be Eastern Time, and that will be around 10 a.m. or so that people across the globe can access the course. So I'm not turning into Central Time, but Eastern Time will be around 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
Thanks, Jivasu. We'll still take questions. We have a few more minutes. One question we get often.
10 a.m. EST, yes.
10 a.m. EST. Yeah.
Yes.
One question we get sometimes, which I can address now just for the sake of completeness and information. Sometimes people ask us, look, usually you need an undergraduate degree to do a master's level, or you need a master's degree to do a PhD level. That's the standard, and that's our standard as well. However, if you are one of those people that doesn't have an undergraduate degree, don't let that stop you from approaching us, because we are open to candidates that have bachelor's level equivalents when it comes to their work or life experience. We value that very much, and we have so many incredibly talented, experienced, impactful people that may not have that piece of paper, but that certainly have 10, 20 years of experience in a field that even, supersedes the piece of paper that a college will give you at the end of 4 years when you're 18. So
yeah,
it's an important point in case that was something that was on people's minds.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
seem we
agree
have
with you.
more questions at the moment. I think it might be a good time to wrap up in any case. For everyone, who might want to rewatch this session, we will be sending the recording out in the next day or two to everyone on this list. So that means everyone who not only attended, but also registered and maybe weren't able to make it for the live session. So that recording will be shared. You can contact us, as I said, by visiting the landing page that I showed you. You can learn more about the SHEN program using the landing page that they've shared with you. I've also shared an interest form that you can fill out if you would like our team to contact you directly. And you can always book orientation calls or email our admissions office. Let me quickly put that in as well. admissions@ubiquity.org. There we go. And I think with that, everyone should have what they need to make a decision, to contemplate, to meditate on these matters. And we're here for you anytime you need it. So in closing, thank you very much, Shiv. Thank you very much, Devasu, for your contributions. Best of luck with your program. And I really hope that those on the call and recording will enroll in some of these programs, because they're very important and there's so much to be learned and so much for you all to contribute to with your own talents and hard work. So thank you, everyone. Hope to see you.
Thank you, Raji. Thank you, Georgie, Victoria. Yeah.
Raji, can we have a recording too?
Absolutely. I'll be sharing the email to everyone that was on the list, including
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Or good morning.